Any advice for self-trust and self-esteem?
This is always an interesting question, and it comes in a couple of different forms. If somebody has a hard time trusting themselves or has a low self-esteem, that's almost always a result of experiences that have been added to their person. Meaning, when you drop in here, I think you innately trust yourself and you don't generally struggle with esteem. It's a question of identity, ultimately. But then through life experiences and things that we go through, we create labels and add things to ourselves that diminish our sense of trust in ourselves, which ultimately is going to diminish our trust in others. And we diminish our esteem through life experiences. Maybe we had an abusive parent who told us we never amount to anything, or we had a sibling that did that, or we had a teacher that did that, or we just were overly critical of ourselves based on our environment. For me, most of developing one's self-esteem and trust in oneself is simply removing the stories and the beliefs that are limiting our ability to do that. Now, to be sure, it's easier to trust yourself as you apply what you believe in the real world and you begin to gain result. And that's, kind of the process of coming back is to do that. So I tell people routinely, I tell my clients this: trust your gut, trust your intuition, and I will label it that. You may be wrong in doing that, but that's how you learn. I say this all the time. I would rather it be my decision and it be wrong than to outsource that decision to somebody else and it be wrong. And so one of the reasons why we struggle with trusting ourselves is we struggle with the consequences of trusting ourselves. What if we're wrong? In some cases, it's easier just to go, well, I did what they told me to do and it was wrong. So we play the blame game and we pass the buck on to somebody else. Part of taking back autonomy of self is learning to take responsibility for your decisions. And you will learn through that process. And it may be painful, by the way. All right, trusting your gut or trusting your intuition as you're learning how to reconnect with yourself, you may make some really bad decisions or decisions that you're going to be disappointed in. That's okay, as long as you learn from them, because that's going to get you on the path of discovering who you really are, and eventually that will clean itself up. Where we get into trouble is we outsource our thinking to someone else, we outsource our esteem to someone else, and then we're always dependent on the other for these things. That is the path to the dark side.